David, USA Performance Parts. For all you circle track guys looking for quicker restarts and being better getting out of the corners, we've got our lightweight series of crankshafts here. These are the Lateral lightweight series. Most of these are in the 44 to 45 pound range, depending on the stroke. These are all 4340 forged. Come with the machine work on the flange, the flex plate flywheel flange. They call that a star flange. They are all gun drilled, have gun drilled mains in them. They all have lightened rod journals in them also. They do have the bull nose for the windage. And if you notice, these counterweights are fairly narrow and they've been undercut down here, so it still gives you quite a bit of strength where you need it, and still keeps it lightweight. These will accelerate very quickly compared to a standard weight crankshaft. We have them all the way from the stock 3.480 strokes, 3.500, 3.625, 3.75, 3.800, 3.875, and even in the 4-inch. We have them with the 350 mains in that, and we also have the 400 main in a 3750, 3875, and 4-inch. So for any of your engine combinations, we're going to have a crankshaft for you. We also have, these come in a complete rotating assembly with a lightweight rod. We have a number of different lightweight rods. This is the Molnar lightweight H-beam rod with 3/8 ARP 2000 bolts in it. This is a great rod for the 550 to 600 horsepower range, around 8,000 RPM. Great in a lot of the crate motors and things like that. For a little bit higher horsepower, in the 650 to 8,000 RPM, this is their mid-weight rod. It's a little bit heavier, but it's still just a little bit over 500 grams. Again, has a 3/8 ARP 2000 bolts. That's a proprietary bolt that Molnar has with a special grip length in it. It has symmetrical threads in it, so it's a good quality piece. When you start getting over 700, especially at 750 up, you need to put a good, this is a standard weight rod from Molnar, but it's still a fairly light piece. It's just a hair over 600 grams, but you just have to have a good rod in it. All these Molnar, all these Lateral crankshafts, these are good for 750 horsepower at 8,500 RPMs, and they'll hold up. They'll hold up pretty well at that. Now we get into want a little better rod. We have the Carolla, their bullet I-beam rods. This is their lightweight I-beam. This also has a their WMC really high quality famous bolt in it. These rods are rated at this is around a 600 horsepower rod at 8,500. We've even had some guys running them as high as 9,000. This is the same lightweight rod, but in a 2-inch for a 2-inch rod journal. This one actually has the 7/16 WMC bolts in it, so it's a little bit stronger than the 3/8 one, so it'll handle a little bit higher RPM and a little bit more horsepower. If you're up, like I said, over the 750, we get into into a more of a standard weight rod. It's still a fairly light rod for what it is. These things will handle just about anything you're going to throw at it. This is a 1,000 horsepower rod at 9,000 RPM. Again, with their WMC 7/16 bolt, a great piece. A Carolla rod, you're not going to find a better rod anywhere in the world. This is the same bullet rod as that, but this is their 2-inch rod journal. This has a 3/8 bolt in it. And it's a little bit lighter, but it'll still handle upwards of 800 horsepower or so, at 9,000 RPM. So you got a good choice of rods, depending if you're putting a crate motor together, or using a trying to get more cubic inches, more RPM out of your bigger cubic inch engines. We also have, I don't have one here, but we also have a great one-piece seal, rear seal, lightweight crank that goes, 3,750 stroke and a 3,800 stroke that'll go right into your crate engine block, and it increases it to a 383 cubic inch to as much as a 390 cubic inch, and still being a 44 to 42 pound crankshaft. It works great in the engines where the guys can actually put more cubic inches in their crate engine, or if they just want to. We get into pistons. We have a lightweight. This happens to be an SRP Pro. This is a flat top piston. It uses the inside forging on it. These are in most cases are under 400 grams. They come with a 1.2 millimeter, 1.5, 3 millimeter ring package. They also have it in a dome piston too, for the guys that want to put more compression in them. Now, for anybody that wants a really elite piston, this is a new CP-Carrillo piston. This is their Elite Series. This is an awesome piston. Again, you have the inboard forging. You also have the CP-Carrillo forging, which is the best in the country right now. It comes with a short 2.250 length pin in it. That keeps the pin from bending and has a lot of strength in it. Being that it's short, they put a 180 wall pin in it, which helps keeping the pin from flexing, which tends to try and crack and wear the piston and the pin end of the rod. So it's a great piston. One of the biggest things, though, on the new ones is the ring package. This has a 1 millimeter, 1 millimeter, 3 millimeter, or 2 millimeter oil ring package. That 1 millimeter is a .394 or so thickness. You can notice how thin it is. It's getting down there almost to what the oil ring is. But these will seal very, very well. This is a nitrated steel top ring. They use a Napier iron second ring on it. Again, only a 1 millimeter. And then they have a 2 millimeter oil ring in it. So it's a pretty thin oil ring. People go, well, why would you want a real thin oil ring? Well, it does two things. One, it takes all the weight out of the ring set. This whole ring set's only 22 grams, compared to if this was a 3/16, 3/16, it'd be almost 50 grams. So automatically you've taken 28 grams out of the rotating assembly. The other thing is they seal good. They seal excellent, actually, way better than any of the thicker rings. Even the 2 millimeter oil ring will control as good as and better than the 3 millimeter and the 3/16 oil ring everybody's used for years. You find a lot of this in some of the performance production cars out there today have 1 millimeter rings. So it also does another thing. It allows them to put the ring up closer to the top on the circle track pistons, which really helps the horsepower in it also. These are very low drag because they're so thin too. There's approximately, you're probably going to see from a 16th ring to this, you're going to probably see 35 to 40 horsepower improvement just by changing the ring package in the piston. These are lateral gas ported pistons. And if you notice, when you get a set of pistons like this, most engine builders have to go in there by hand and go in and deburr the whole piston. These are all deburred in the CNC machine right from CP. It's just a great piston and a great ring package. And this is something, when you put it with a lightweight rod and a lightweight crank, this thing's going to accelerate like you can't believe. We also have the same lightweight crankshafts in a number of 302 Ford versions, 302, 337, 347 cubic inch for those guys, and for the 351 style engines. We have those up to the 400 cubic inch and the lightweight stuff. So whether you've got a Chevy or a Ford, we stock whatever you're going to need for your lightweight circle track stuff. When you're ready, give me a call, 704-397-7979, or check us out on the web at usaperform.com.